Hi, this is Linda Carbonell, and welcome to the very special Walking Through Life one-year show. So I am very grateful to have my three greatest men here. Of course, my husband's number one, and you'll see him later. And then there's Mark Helliges, the huggable guy. I had to say it. I can't help it. And then there's Governor Jim Douglas, who came back to celebrate my 1 year. So we're going to talk a little bit about the show and what's happened on the show and what you think about the show. What do you think about the show?
I think it's great, Linda. Congratulations on your first anniversary. It really was exciting to be here a year ago, and I'm really privileged and honored to be invited back.
Well, you know, I think it made a big difference when you came on and we really went through some of the things, some of the issues that we were concerned about, you know. And I really felt like you were listening to us. Do you felt that way too, right?
I do, and I'm grateful that you're here today as well. And it's delightful to be here on the 1 year anniversary. It seems hardly possible that it's gone that fast, but it's been an amazing year for you.
Yes, it has. Yeah, I've had a lot of good guests. I had a woman, she can't be here today, her name is Roxanne, and I wanted to say a little bit about her because she was one of the most impressionable guests I think I had that people really reacted to. She spoke about her son-in-law being over in Iraq and, you know, sitting by the telephone with her daughter waiting for a phone call to know that he's okay, and how painful that was for her family. And she's a lady that takes care of elderly people that are ill, you know, and when they pass away, the lonely feelings. And then she discovered she had BRCA2, which is a gene that could cause breast cancer. And that was really informative to a lot of people. Asked me about that. And just, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, wasn't it? She had to go in and have a double vasectomy. Mm-hmm. She was hoping to be here today, but she really couldn't make it.
Well, let's hope she recovers quickly and completely.
Yeah. So it's been a great year, and Mark's appeared on the show several times, and I was really proud of him that he won the Governor's Award for employing people with disabilities.
Well, it was a privilege to present it to him at the conference of the Governor's Committee on Employment of Persons with Disabilities. Mm-hmm. As you know, Linda, the focus this year was on helping veterans
yes.
Who have come back from Iraq or Afghanistan, or mm-hmm. perhaps served elsewhere and have some issues that they are dealing with. Increasingly, that's important for our state as we see the potential for more National Guard deployments in the next couple of years. But I was really pleased to have that focus, and in my capacity as chairman of the National Governors Association Committee on Health and Human Services, I'm going to devote our committee time next month at our annual meeting to that topic, to helping veterans reintegrate into our society. So I'm glad that once again Vermont's showing leadership in that, and it's nice to be able to recognize Mark for his hard work.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It was a nice event, and I was really touched by the people that were there, and some of the veterans returning and their willingness to speak about how it was and what it's like now. But the big message really is that people have all sorts of different disabilities, that they're employable, that they're grateful for work, they're loyal workers, and that in some ways we get a far greater marginal improvement by employing folks with disabilities than people who we think don't have disabilities, perhaps.
They have a lot to contribute to an employer, to the workforce, and as
it's very empowering.
Well, it is, and Sergeant Jackson mentioned the gentleman who had a serious leg injury. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there may be an accommodation necessary, but it's easily achievable and handled by an employer, and people with different experiences really can enrich the workplace and provide perspective that other Vermonters may not have. As I noted at the time, it's really important for our state demographically because we're aging. We have fewer young people. Look at our high school classes. They're smaller than they used to be. Yeah. So if we're going to fill the jobs and maintain a viable economy in the future, each and every Vermonter has to be a part of that workforce, has to be in the job market. And so as we focus at these conferences and other forums on Vermonters with a disability, we have to integrate them all into our workforce and make them, as I suggested at the time, taxpayers, contributing to our state's society.
And I think certainly being somebody that's disabled too, by going to work and earning your first paycheck, there's nothing like that feeling. Yeah. There's nothing like that feeling.
Well, as
You
Mark
know.
says, it's empowering. It
It,
really
it is, yes, definitely. You know, and I have to give Mark credit for seeing that I had potential when I first walked into the Turning Point Club and actually valued me enough and trusted me enough to become a volunteer and volunteer coordinator. That was one of the greatest gifts that anybody ever gave in me, and that's why he's so special to me.
Well, he's a great guy, and as I said when I presented the award, it's not just in this part of the state that Mark's had an impact, but
That's
he's really
right.
been a real leader throughout Vermont, and for that we're grateful.
Thank you. And, you know, all of the recovery centers around the state do, in fact, I mean, a number of jobs have been created as a result of the state funding that's been provided. Not only are they providing a great service, but new jobs, as well as many of the jobs are filled by people with an addictive disorder and a co-occurring mental disorder, and so their disabilities are sort of right up front and visible. So I think that we're doing a pretty good job on that front.
I had a chance to visit the center in Burlington at an open house they had just a few weeks ago, and things seem to be going quite well. I remember the grand opening, a year or so ago, Mark, and all the different programs they have, reaching out, giving folks who frequent the center different kinds of opportunities. It was during the Jazz Festival down on the Burlington waterfront, and they were organizing a group of folks from the center to spend some time down there enjoying the musical presentations, and they were arranging a bike trip around the immediate area for some of the folks. So lots of different activities that keep people engaged, involved, and interacting with the community at large, which is very important.
Yeah, it's very important to have peers working together, you know, and that's what recovery is all about, I believe. I also, sorry.
I was just going to say then that it's really important to have advocates that these things can happen. And that's why we're here today, in my estimation, that for 1 year you've been doing this program, Walking Through Life, and for a variety of people and for a variety of messages, you have been a champion, and you're an example of someone who has overcome challenges and doing things that we never thought possible. And that's terrific news. And we're doing it here in Vermont, and we have support from the state to do that here. And our state is small enough and personable enough that we really can make a difference, and we can know the individuals that we're impacting.
Yeah, and you know, that's why I say it's so important for people that really want to share their stories, because they want to be heard, and they want to share their hope and their hearts with all of us. And that's what I really, really get out of Walking Through Life.
We focused on Mark's award, but we want to make it clear to our audience that Linda received an award earlier this year too at the State House in Montpelier, and it was a real thrill to be there, Linda, to see you recognized for the great work you're doing in producing this show.
Jack Berry Award, and then I also got a state resolution from the Senate too.
Oh, good.
So I got it all framed actually.
Well, Jack Berry, of
and
course.
And the Jack Berry right there too. I got Jack Berry in that. And then in between, I've got the paper from you saying that I could be on the Governor's Committee for Employing People with Disability, which I love.
Well, I appreciate you doing it. Jack Berry, of course, was a well-known TV and radio talk show host, so you're following in his footsteps. And his daughter and young grandson were there, who's his namesake. And after, I don't think I told you this, but after the meeting, the family asked if I would write a note so that young Jack could take it to his teacher and explain why he was absent from school. And so I said, please excuse Jack, he had to present a very important award in his grandfather's memory to an outstanding Vermonter, and I guess he didn't get in trouble.
No, I hope not. That made me feel so good too. And you know, I want to talk a little too about the support I get behind the scenes too. He's kind of shy, so he didn't want to come up. But Joe Rogers is my vocational rehabilitation worker, and I can't tell you how encouraging that he has been in everything that I do here and the support I get. And he works along with my mental illness. He knows when, you know, I may need to, you know, relax a little bit, and he's very helpful with that. So I did want to mention him, and, you know, even if he is camera shy.
Well, we're glad you're not, because you're able to get the word out to people in the community about the great work that's happening and the opportunities that are there.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and I want to talk to Bob too. But I'd like to say thank you very much to Mark Helliges. And,
You're most welcome. Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And Bob, you know, is the executive director here in CATV. He was the first person that I actually called. When I saw the ad on the TV, it said, "Be a star." And I, that sounds interesting. And then it said, "Create your own show." So I got to thinking about it, and I said, well, you know, I've got an awesome story of recovery, you know, from, you know, way back when I first, you know, started having mental illness till then. So I picked up the phone and I called, and Bob answered the phone, and I told him kind of what I was looking for, and he said, "Come on down." So
That's the great thing about public access television.
Yes.
Vermonters can be their own producers and stars and get an important message out, and we appreciate Bob and his team allowing that to happen.
So this is Bob Franzoni.
Franzoni,
sorry. and I just wanted to take a minute to also say that Alec and Rachel is being the producers today, and they're doing a wonderful job. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is our student interns for the summer, and they're sort of, this is their first job switching back there.
I think they're doing a fine job.
Yeah, they are.
And Bob has given me classes in videographing and editing and all kinds of good things. Did you know that I videotaped the award ceremony?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We put it on the TV.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to get that important message out beyond just the folks who are at the event, and so thanks for doing that, Linda.
Yeah. And so we want to talk to Bob a little bit, but we can't have him pick on me, though.
Oh, I don't think he will.
He does, all the time.
No.
Well, we appreciate what he's doing to help you, and what an exciting time, Bob, to celebrate the first anniversary of Linda's show.
Well, I think Linda's a good example of what public access TV is, and I'm sure you've done many public access shows through the years. And it's a chance for the people in the community to find out what's happening through the shows that Linda does, and other events that happen through sporting, our local government. CATV carries 21 government meetings a month, and so they're hopefully well informed. But Linda has dedicated last year to providing information to the public about various illnesses and various ways to get help. And through your office, I really appreciate it. I also appreciate you coming down here. This is your second time in the show. Really appreciate you taking time to come down here, spend time with us. And so it's been a great fun. It's been a lot of fun working with you. And I know you got many more shows coming out the next year. And I told Governor Douglas for the second year he has to be on 2 hours as a year.
That's it. For the second year, you have to be on 2 hours. Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyway, so we hope to have many shows in the future.
Well, it is an important resource, Bob, and we're glad to do what we can in Montpelier to try to move the agenda forward. As Mark indicated, we're supporting recovery centers and student assistance professionals in the schools, additional treatment options for people who have a substance abuse problem. I visited Valley Vista recently, our residential substance abuse facility in Bradford, and talked with some of the patients there who are really having a great experience in dealing with their addictions and looking forward to getting back into the community. So we're trying to do what we can in different contexts to help people like Linda and her counterparts do their best.
Yeah, because the recovery happens, you know. We're all miracles.
That's right.
That's what I like to say is we're all miracles. We just need a chance.
Well, there are a lot of success stories in Vermont of people who've overcome their challenges, and but some who are still struggling, and we have different ways of doing that. We also have the drug courts and kind of tough love from a judge when that's necessary to get people on the right track. And so I think we're making some real progress in raising awareness and letting people know about recovery centers and other resources is part of that.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to thank Bob for
Thank you
for coming on and talking good. And
I appreciate it.
And not talking bad and saying I don't bring him dark chocolate.
I would
'cause
never
that's what
do
always,
that.
Well,
He always says I have to bring him dark chocolate.
that's health food, right?
Yeah.
Dark chocolate's good.
Yeah.
Did she promise you dark chocolate?
She hasn't.
Why?
well-
Cake?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I don't think you should leave here to get dark chocolate.
Oh, get some dark chocolate cake.
Well, okay.
We even got your picture on it.
I noticed that, Linda. That's very nice.
Thank you very much.
So anyway, the next person that's going to come up that I really, really want to meet is my husband Ted.
Well, he's
I
obviously
really-
been great support for you.
Yes, yes.
He's
So
not camera shy, is he?
no, he's not.
Oh,
no,
that's
no,
good.
no. He's been on the show twice talking about
Hey, Ted. Good to see you again.
schizophrenia.
Yeah.
So Ted was very open when he came on, and talked about, that he knows when he starts to get sick, sometimes he has to go to the hospital for medication change. And that was very difficult for
Yeah.
Ted, I think. But
Well, I think it's important for the audience to hear people
Yeah,
discuss their experiences, tell their
Yeah.
stories, and others can
Yeah.
learn from that.
yeah, they do.
and he's a very hard worker. He loves to work.
Yeah,
He does.
part-time.
And
Yeah,
but still he works,
Yeah.
He really likes to work, so.
kind of hard working,
Well, you do what you can.
Yeah, gotta.
He's how long have you been a dishwasher since you were?
No, since I was 14,
Well, that's not that long ago.
36 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a young fella.
yeah, I'm only 50. Turned 50 last December.
Well, I reached that milestone a few years ago. Was it
Oh, yeah.
traumatic for you, Ted?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's I remember a number of years ago, another TV host, Sam Donaldson, I was watching on ABC, and he turned 50, and
Yeah.
he said, "Well, you know the old saying, I'd rather be 50 than not."
yeah,
Well,
Sounds
I keep picking on him about that too. So
yeah,
on his 50th birthday, I've got a hat that had gray hair hanging from it, So,
yeah,
yeah.
Well, we're really pleased that you're doing well, Ted, and
yeah, me too.
just keep at it, work
Yeah.
hard, and
Yeah,
And he's a
You'll be
great
fine.
support for me. Great support.
well, that's important, and that's I think
We're like best friends.
well, we talked earlier about recovery centers and how the
Yeah.
peer
Yeah.
support is important, and everybody who has dealt with substance abuse or mental illness or whatever the challenge might be needs that support system, whether at home or in a circle of friends or at work. So it's really important to
Yeah.
have people who are there for you.
And Ted just celebrated too in December his 10 months sober, 10 years.
10
months.
sober this
10 years
December.
sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Plus being 50.
yeah,
So,
Well,
so
I-
he's got 6 months before his 51st birthday, and the other day he came in and he says, I'm going to be 51 pretty soon.
I think he's earned a piece of cake.
I think
Yeah.
he did too.
yeah,
You're going to have a piece of cake.
yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you, Ted, for coming in.
Yeah.
And I will see you over with the cake.
Glad to meet you.
Good to see you, Ted.
And next,
work.
next I have my last guest are Nick and Billy. They're from a group called Prior B, and they've been on the show twice, and they are actually going to play a little music for us
Oh, that's great.
later. So this is Billy. Did I say
Billy.
Nick Sharf? And this is Nick Cherry.
Hey, Nick.
Cherry.
Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
You know how to put that on? And Billy and Nick have come on, and they kind of talk and represent the young people. And Nick works with young people, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes. And you guys travel around the country now? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to bring them on to give you a little feel of what the young people think now.
Well, I think that's very important, Linda. I had the privilege of seeing the first screening of a movie, the Voices Project, and about 1,000 high school kids did some research, and some of them up at a high school in northwestern Vermont filmed this story that's going to be shown at schools around the state, so I'm sure it'll come to this part of Vermont. But it's about teenagers, high school kids, dealing with some of the pressures that they face, whether it's drugs or sex or academic pressure. And so I think it's really important for you and others to work with young people and help them get out on the right track.
Well, it's really interesting you brought that up. The other half of our band worked on that movie behind the cameras
really?
and doing
Interesting.
working with props and stuff. And that's exactly what I try to do. I work with foster kids and troubled kids, dealing with the problems in life and trying to make it. And it's a scary couple of years to grow up. The last 8 years, I think, what with Iraq, 9/11, and Afghanistan. And I think Linda asked us to play a song.
Yeah, after we cut the cake, I'm going to ask. And could you tell the governor a little bit about the songs that you write, what they
The
entitle?
songs we try to write about these youth issues and social consciousness. The song in particular we're going to play is called Come On In, and it's about young people who are stuck in Iraq or Afghanistan or other parts of the world. We have friends in the Guard, we have friends over there, And as representatives of the youth, I think they want to come home. We would encourage you to speak about that or listen. That's an important message because I don't think anyone I know my age wants to be there. And Vermonters want to be here.
Yeah. Best place on the planet to live, I think.
I think so too.
I've heard that you're in favor somewhat of an exit plan to be formed in Washington. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Or you have been for a while?
Well, we certainly want to help a struggling country get on the road to democracy, but we've been there longer than we were in World War II, and I think it's time for the Iraqis with their vast oil resources and relative wealth to step up to the plate and assume more responsibility themselves.
But do you think our change needs to come from Washington, or do you think you have effect yourself as a governor of Vermont?
Well, there's not much the states can do. Frankly, it's the federal government that sets the policy. They appropriate the funds, and it's really I think both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue that have to work together to try to get the job done.
I guess the one thing, I mean, now we're about to elect another president, and I've heard you endorse John McCain, but he's the candidate that doesn't have an exit plan, who said something like, he's in it to win it, whatever that means, and in it for 100 years if that's what it takes. And do you feel a conflict there between your interests and what he says?
Well, he probably knows from his military experience that you don't want to tip your hand, but I think he understands also from his personal experience and that of having a son serving over there that it's not the place we want our young people to be. So I have confidence that he'll work hard to get an exit plan.
Despite his policy stance?
Well, I think he understands, he said that you really have to be in combat to understand how terrible it is and how important it is to try to end it, and I think he will.
Well, I really appreciate you coming here for Linda and talking about these things.
Well, she's great, and I want to thank you guys for what you do. And you mentioned foster kids, Nick, and that's one area where I've been working hard to try to improve opportunities. We extended the age limit for foster care so that kids have some support after they're 18. And I had a conference a year and a half ago at the State House with foster kids, and I didn't want I don't want to insult anyone. I didn't want the professionals who work with them. I wanted to hear from the kids directly to understand what their needs and concerns are, and they're looking for more stability in life and more opportunity, and I think we can try to turn things around. We had the Chief Justice there, so he could hear from them what they're facing, and it's a good time to make a plug for more foster parents because we don't have enough.
That's right.
Many loving Vermonters who've opened their homes, but we always need more. So I hope some of our viewers might consider doing that.
What I want to say about Billy Nick too is that it's really rewarding to see young people like this to be able to write songs and express their feelings. And I think music is so important to everybody, and I feel their music is reaching young people that are noticing, what the words of those songs are. This is what's happening, and it's like his song "Come On In,"
Good to see that creativity.
I believe you listen to your children, I think, and you can learn.
Right,
it's
absolutely.
our future, and that's what the message we'd encourage.
That's right.
I think, anyway.
And you're going to get a
Appreciate
chance.
your show.
Yeah, thank you guys, really, and I know you'll come back and do more. We're actually going to take a quick break right now so we can go over and talk a little bit to the audience, and then we're going to cut the cake, and then they're going to come over. Billy and Nick are actually going to come over here and play guitar and violin. Is it violin?
Yeah.
For you.
That's great.
For all of us. And I think you'll see, like I did, how good they do. So we've got two people that are part of Walking Through Life. They both co-host the show at one time. So if you could stand, Kristen and Stephanie. Kristen here has co-hosted several of the shows with me, and she's been very outspoken and talking quite a bit about mental illness and things like that, but she's an true inspiration to all of us. So, did you want to?
I just want to say congratulations. I am thrilled about what you're doing and the success that Walking Through Life has had this last year. I've been in the recovering community in the Upper Valley for many years now, and I've been trying to spread the word that it's possible and likely to recover from these illnesses, especially when you can get your story out there and hear other people talking about it. And that's what you do on this show, and it's been wonderful to be part of it. And I look forward to another year of walking through life. And thank you, Linda. And Governor, it's great to see you again. I'm so glad that you were here today. Thanks.
Okay, and I'd also like it if Stephanie could maybe just move up here so we could get a comment. Now, do you know Stephanie Jackson?
Well, I know she's co-hosted the show with you sometimes. It's nice to see her again.
She does a lot of other work, too. She does a lot of, like, when I need something printed up or typed up or edited, Stephanie's always right there to do that. You want to come over? She was actually my support when I first came on the show.
I came on the first show that Linda did. She was a little nervous, and so I came on for support, and she chose me as her first guest to share my story, which was wonderful. It's been a good year. We've had a lot of great guests. I've had a good time doing it, and I hope to help her in the coming year. I like doing behind-the-scenes work. And thank you, Linda.
Oh, thank you,
And thank you for being here, Governor Douglas.
Well, it's my pleasure, and Linda's certainly a pro now, not nervous at all, is she?
No, she's not nervous at all.
Well,
No.
thanks for your help and support, Stephanie. It means a lot to Linda.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. And I just wanted to mention that Kristen and Stephanie both have been going through some grieving processes right now. Kristen lost her brother to suicide. Stephanie just lost her father to cancer, so it's pretty sad.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And as I suggested earlier, it's important to have good friends and family around whom we can get support from at difficult times like this. So I know you've got a lot of good friends.
We have each other.
We got each other, don't we?
We all have each other.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll always be there for you guys, you know that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I lost my mother, Stephanie was right there. I didn't know Kristen yet, but Stephanie was right there for me, so I want to make sure I'm there for them, too. And I would like to introduce one more person, if I could, please. Well, two more people, actually. Dave here. This is Kristen's husband, so we got to say hi to him.
Yeah. Hi, Dave. Thanks for coming.
How you doing, Governor? Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for your love and support for your wife. That's really important.
And the other person we got here is Marilyn. Marilyn is my favorite person, and she's an inspiration to me.
I was in the show too. I was on the show too, and I had an accident 6 years ago where I had brain damage, and I couldn't remember anything. But when I was on the show with you, some of my memory come back, and all my memory has come back. Yeah.
I think that's great, you know.
Well, you know, Linda, at the conference that you and I attended recently, there was a film of a gentleman with a traumatic brain injury, and the brain is an amazing regenerative organ. It does heal itself, and memory returns, and ability to speak and walk and everything, and so it's great to see you doing well, and I think we have to remember that there's always hope when there's a brain injury. We just have to keep working at it.
You know, it's like she taught herself all over again to read and write, kind of like I did. You know, I learned to read and write. You know, and I think that's why I'm so close to her. So, I love all my people here.
Well, rightly so. What a great group of friends and Vermonters, and I'm really proud to be here with you, Linda, too.
Well, you know, and I appreciate you coming and celebrate the 1 year of Walking Through Life. And I think now we're actually going to have cake. What do you think? You want some cake?
Well, what a deal.
Yeah. Does that sound good? Is everybody in for cake?
Sounds great.
Cake and ice water. Is ice water okay?
I think that'd be just fine.
Okay. And while we're doing that, Nick and Billy are actually going to do a song for you that they've written. Is it called Come On In? Yeah. So they're gonna do that while we actually get to cut the cake. So this is Linda Carbonneau, and I'm going to leave you with Billy and Nick from Prior Beat singing the song Come On In. And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.
How'd I do?
Just great.
You think so?
Well, I'll tell you a story about my old man. Gonna tell you this place called Vietnam. When you see his eyes, then you believe he wants to go. You can never leave. Hey, if I forget to sleep, I forget to eat, but I can't forget you. What you said to me. Said, listen, son, you better understand blind faith and the devil walk hand in hand. Said, come on in, come on in. Said, trust and soul is the right hand man, blind faith and the devil walk hand in hand. Well, come on in. Well, up to 19, I shipped out to Iraq, started counting down the days till I got back with the things I did. They're who I am, and I'm stuck out there somewhere in the sand. I've lost my mind, I've lost my way, left behind, led astray. Said, listen, son, you better understand blind faith and the devil walk hand in hand. Well, come on in, come on in. Said, trust the soul is the right hand man, blind faith and the devil walk hand in hand. Come on in, well, come on in. Well, a cuckoo, she's a purty bird, she hums as she flies, and she never, hollers cuckoo, till the 4th day of July. Well, the lady at the door, she was dressed in red. Her eyes are flashing like the traces in my head when she smiles so seductively. It's like an IED when it's eyes on me. Hey, you got a rebel lamp, got a face like you saying, come on in. She can't leave. Say, listen, son, you better understand blind faith and the devil walk hand in hand. Well, come on in, come on in. Said, trust the soul is the right hand man, blind faith and the devil walk hand in hand.